The bronze snake. We read about the bronze snake in Numbers chapter 21 and in the New Testament book of John chapter 3. So the Israelites are traveling through the desert on their way to their destination. They're here, and they need to get all the way over to here, which means they've got to get through someone else's land. So they go to the king of Edom and ask for permission to travel through his land, promising not to touch anything. But the king of Edom says, "No way, and if you try it, we will attack you with swords." So the Israelites have to turn around and find another way, a long way. And during this time, the king of Arad finds out the Israelites are coming. So he sends people to fight them and even takes some of the Israelites as his prisoners. So the Israelites plead with God to please help them defeat these people. And if he will help them, they'll give God his cities and they'll totally destroy the people. So God helped them. And now they're traveling on the road that goes to the Red Sea. Remember, they've got to go the long way now. But the Israelites get impatient. So what do? They do what they always do. They complain again. Why did you bring us out of Egypt? Why did you bring us here in the desert to die? There's no bread, there's no water, and we hate this terrible food. You think God was getting a little tired of all this complaining? Must have been, because he sent poisonous snakes. And if the snake bit the Israelite, they died. The people realized they had sinned, and they were sorry, and asked Moses to help them. So God did. He said, "Here's what you've got to do. I want you to put a bronze snake on a pole, and when an Israelite is bit, they just have to look at the bronze snake, and they'll live." All they had to do was believe and obey. So now they're traveling again, and they've asked the king Sihon of the Amorites if they can pass through. And guess what that king says? No, he won't allow it. And the king sends men to fight the Israelites, but the Israelites won. God was with them. Then they traveled and came to King Og of Bashan, but God told them not to be afraid. You see, God was with his people and allowed them to defeat these kingdoms and take all of their land. Did you know that Jesus compared himself to the same bronze snake? I don't know about you, but I don't have good thoughts when I think of snakes, so why did Jesus do this? Nicodemus was talking to Jesus, and he didn't understand this new birth. So Jesus explained, making a comparison. He said, "As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that whoever believes in him will have eternal life." Whoa! Jesus was saying that just like those who look to the bronze snake in the wilderness lived, those who look in faith to Jesus will live. You see, the Israelites had to acknowledge their sins, and God gave them a remedy. It didn't make sense, but all they had to do was trust and obey God. They had to look at the bronze snake and they'd live. Just like Nicodemus and us today, we have sins and God gave us a remedy. It doesn't make sense that Jesus had to die on the cross for us or that we need to be baptized in water, but if we trust and obey God, we too will live eternally. We have an amazing God. He has a plan for us. We simply must trust God and obey him.